The changing war in Libya. Canada is sending fighter jets and the Gaddafi regime declares a ceasefire.
And if you're feeling chronically exhausted, exercise can help. Humber News starts right now.
Hello, it's March 18, 2011. Welcome to Humber News, coming to you from the Broadcast Center here at the North Campus. I'm Sarah Jacob. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Mike Van Ooston. Ahead on our show, we'll have all your news, sports, and entertainment highlights, as well as a 5-day weather forecast. But first, Sarah has our top story.
Libya has called a ceasefire after Canada and other Western nations passed a UN resolution to enforce a no-fly zone over the country. Libyan Foreign Minister Moussa Koussa told reporters they will immediately stop all military operations and comply with the UN resolution. Prime Minister Stephen Harper said this morning Canada will send 6 CF-18 fighter jets to Libya and will support any resolution to protect Libyan civilians. Harper has asked Gaddafi regime to stop its bloodshed and immediately step down. The no-fly zone resolution will be enforced for at least 3 months.
We'll have more international news and updates on Japan later in the show. Turning now to local news, the CEO of Toronto Community Housing has been told to step down. Keiko Nakamura is leaving effective March 25th. Case Otis, who was recently named the temporary managing director of the corporation, says Nakamura's departure came at his request. He says if Nakamura continues as CEO, it would be a distraction for the corporation in its efforts to provide affordable housing for Toronto's low and moderate income residents.
The TTC lost more than $22 million in fares last year due to fare evaders, almost doubling the amount of the previous year. To combat the problem, the TTC has launched a program called Fare is Fair. Transit enforcement officers will monitor turnstiles, crash gates, and bus and streetcar platforms during the morning and afternoon rush. Humber News took to the halls to see what students think of the new program and if we have any fare dodgers in our ranks.
I always take TTC and I pay. I try to be, as much as fair I can, but I think it's a very sad part about the TTC that they're not monitoring probably very strictly.
Sometimes my transfer is over and it just over 2 minutes ago, so then sometimes I will just use it.
I don't think if 60 people are traveling in a bus, 1 or 2 gonna do it, and it's gonna be any loss for the TTC because they earn the handsome money. So I think they need to be generous.
Today is the last day to cast your vote for HSF elections. 5 executive positions are up for grabs, including president and 4 vice president positions. Humber News reporter Simon Rice has a story on voter turnout.
As week-long voting in Humber's HSF elections wraps up, getting students to exercise their democratic rights isn't proving easy. HSF Executive Director Ercole Peroni says this year's campaign was designed with a special emphasis on engaging Humber's electorate.
This year we chose the executive search kind of model. That's why we brought in Aaliyah Jasmine Slovany from MTV and kind of went on that VJ search type where you have to apply for the job.
So just how important do Humber students think voting is?
Something small like this, not really. I don't really believe they have much control to really change anything.
By voting fellow students into the election, we get to kind of go through them and really get our voices heard.
HSF presidential candidate Christian Manger, who is locked in a race to unseat current President Brian Tran, says the size of the HSF budget alone is good reason for students to vote.
That's when you have the opportunity to have a say over the budget and have a say of what you want as a candidate or what you want to have in a candidate. It's an $8.7 million budget, so it's a really big deal.
HSF Director Ercole Peroni told me that last year's turnout was about 20%. He expects this year to be a little bit higher, but still a lot of Humber and Guelph Humber students have not turned up at the polls yet. Now on Friday at 4:30, the results will be announced just outside this door here. After the polls close, it should be almost instantaneous, according to Peroni. It's an electronic voting system. All they have to do is press a button and the results will come in, and we'll know who the next HSF president and vice presidents are. I'm Simon Rice.
An environmental organization is pushing Canada's Nuclear Safety Commission to delay Monday's safety hearings regarding the Darlington Power Station. The group called Lake Ontario Waterkeeper says more time is needed to study the crisis in Japan and answer important questions about Darlington. Monday's safety hearings are the beginning of a 3-week investigation into approval of 4 new reactors.
With school ending next month, it's crunch time and students are feeling sluggish. A new study says exercise can help battle chronic fatigue. Reporter Emily English has more.
When you're tired, you may feel like being a couch potato, but experts say that's the opposite of what you should be doing. To boost your energy levels, physical activity is the best option, according to a study on chronic fatigue published in the medical journal The Lancet. The study says that exercise has the most positive effect on energy levels compared to other ways of coping, like limiting activity. Although chronic fatigue is a more serious condition than feeling just tired, this personal trainer says Humber students may see similar results.
Well, what happens in the body is anytime you do some sort of physical activity or stress, you release adrenaline, hormones and whatnot, and it just gives you more energy.
This student says he notices a difference after physical activity.
When you get regular exercise, you sort of feel healthy, you feel better about yourself. That way you push yourself to do better. But after working out, you feel more energized. Even if you are a bit tired, you feel more healthier.
Experts say as little as 30 minutes a day of physical activity will help boost your energy levels. Eating healthy and learning to relax will also help you fight fatigue. So if you're tired, you may want to take a nap, but remember, exercise is your best option. Emily English, Humber News.
When we come back, we'll have more news from around the country and the world. Miranda Anthesol will have the sports news, and Bridget Trong will take a look at the skies in the days ahead.
Happy Friday, everyone. It's looking pretty good on the final day of your work week. Join me after the break for more details on what you can expect in your 5-day weather forecast.